Good morning, buongiorno. I didn't have time to do a intro this morning because I had 2.5 hours sleep and had to get up at 4:30, 4:45 to get to the bus station to catch a shuttle bus to Marco Polo Airport. Powdered milk for your coffee. And here we are here in Rome Airport. So we're here for 3 hours. We've got to pick up our luggage, go through security, recheck in because they didn't book our luggage all the way through to Cairo. One thing I noticed, like it happened here and in Munich as well, is that the airports are so big that when you go through like the boarding gate, instead of going straight onto the plane, you go onto a shuttle bus and you drive to where the plane is. So the planes are kind of parked out on the tarmac and you've got to catch a bus to get to the plane. Alright, let's go find out how to get to the next terminal. Another bus to another plane. And things were going so well. Let's blame it on the 2 hours of sleep. This is where I accidentally turned the camera on slow-mo for the rest of the day. I had it on the slow motion setting, which I mean, looks great for shots like this of leaving the airport, but the rest of the footage kinda looks like this. I have no idea what I'm saying here because the audio didn't record, but I'm probably talking about how we're travelling with on-the-go tours for the Egypt part of the trip, and how the tour company met us at the airport and helped us navigate customs and the craziness that is Cairo Airport.
Oh, fella, you want to get hit.
I'm also probably whining about how tired we are and how we turned down an invite to watch a laser light show at the pyramids, which in hindsight was so stupid. I mean, we're in freaking Cairo and it's the pyramids. So let's just fast forward to the next day. Good morning to Cairo. We've just met with the tour group. Today we're going to hit the pyramids up, and then tonight we're catching an overnight train to the other end of Egypt. It's amazing. The view from the hotel room is amazing as well. And normally down here you can see the pyramids, but it's foggy as shit, so you can't see anything. About an hour's drive from Cairo, Saqqara is one of the oldest ancient royal burial grounds. So do you know where we are, Mum? We're in Egypt. And we came here to visit the Step Pyramid, the Pyramid of Giza, Egypt's oldest stone building and the first pyramid ever built. It was built around 4,700 years ago. Insane. But that is the world's first pyramid. Apparently it started off as a tomb, but it was too little for the king, so the builder kept like adding rooms to it, and then adding rooms to it, and adding rooms to it, and it became a pyramid shape. You ready?
Yes. Am I in front of it?
Now we couldn't go in because it was closed for restoration, but we could enter the Pyramid of Unus. It used to be 40 metres high, but over the centuries it's just collapsed into a pile of rubble. You can still climb into the tomb though, although crawl is probably a better description, and carved into the walls are the pyramid texts. These spells and enchantments are one of the oldest written works in history, meant to help guide the pharaoh into the afterlife. The guy wouldn't let me take a photo, so I had to like sneakily take photo and video in there. Well, he would, but he wanted money. Not as intact as that one. And amazingly, new tombs are being discovered all the time. Just 8 months before we arrived, a 4,000-year-old tomb was discovered. And 10 months after this trip, they found another 59 mummies that were over 2,600 years old. Leaving Saqqara to visit the Pyramids of Giza, we drove down a busy, hectic, gritty Cairo street. We knew we were getting close when occasionally the top of the pyramids would peek above the buildings. We stopped at a small store to buy water and snacks when I noticed this young barefooted girl waving at me. Before I'd started recording, she'd been making hand-to-mouth gestures like she wanted food. This wouldn't be the only homeless or at least desperately hungry kid I'd see on the streets in Egypt, but she stuck with me because she was the first. And I can't imagine a world where my daughters would be begging for food from strangers passing by in a bus. She ran towards the bus as people started to get off, but by the time I did, she was gone. Guess where we are? Yep. The Pyramids of Giza. There are actually 6 pyramids in the complex. 3 bigger ones, the Great Pyramid of Giza or the Pyramid of Khufu, the Pyramid of Khafre, and the Pyramid of Menkaure, and 3 smaller ones, the Queen's Pyramids, plus the Sphinx, which stands guard over Khafre. Built as tombs for Egyptian pharaohs between 2600 and 2500 BC, this royal graveyard in the Sahara Desert is over 4,500 years old. To give an idea of how old that is, they were here for over 1,000 years before Tutankhamun, and 2,500 years before Cleopatra. The pyramids were ancient even to them. That's the Great Pyramid right behind me. And then if I pan around you can see Cairo just there. So the pyramids aren't actually out in the middle of nowhere, they're like right next to the city. The Great Pyramid is the oldest of the 7 wonders of the world, and the only one to remain intact. Made with over 2 million blocks, it was the tallest structure in the world until the Lincoln Cathedral was built in London in 1311.
It was the tallest building on Earth for 3,800 years.
Khafre is the second biggest pyramid, and it's the one we get to explore inside of. It's easy to spot because it still has what's left of the smooth limestone casing stones at the top. Like the Step Pyramid of Djoser, these pyramids used to be totally smooth and shine bright white in the sun. Over the centuries, the smooth stones have been stolen or recycled to build other monuments, leaving the jagged blocks we see now. And unfortunately, the inside of the pyramids were all raided centuries ago, and the mummies of the kings have never been found.
$2. $2 here.
Man, there's a lot of people trying to sing for their supper here. Hello. Every time you walk past them, they're hello, hello. See that guy? Camel ride? Come. Give him £1,000.
I don't have £1,000.
You don't have 1,000?
No.
100. Give him 1.
I don't have any.
Now we're heading somewhere else to look at another pyramid. We're going to actually walk inside. So sure, that's which one's the Great Pyramid? That one, yeah, thought so. And this one is Khufu.
No, that is Khufu.
Right.
That is Khafre.
Khafre. This is going to be shaky as shit because I'm not looking at the viewfinder because you're not allowed to film me here, but I'm in the middle of a pyramid walking from a burial chamber. and we've got to... Right now it's a really tight space. I can't believe people made this. No machines, just like by hand. Let's go on holidays, they said. It'll be relaxing, they said. Why am I complaining? This is cool as shit. Oh, it's nice and cool out here now after being in there. The Sphinx sits in front of the Pyramid of Khafre, guarding the valley temple where the pharaoh's body was mummified and the causeway leading to the pyramid. It's smaller than I thought it would be. I mean, it's impressive, but it's only 20 metres high and about 70 metres long. Unlike the pyramids, this wasn't built, it was carved out of rock, with blocks added at the base when it was being restored. And the nose has been missing since sometime between the year 300 and 1100. So the old story of it being used by soldiers as target practice isn't true. Nobody really knows why it went missing, but they can tell that it was chiselled off. We have just come down from the pyramids, and we are at the Sphinx. Like everywhere,
Come back, I work for you, okay? Give my money.
people selling stuff. Assalamu alaikum. You're making these? Handmade?
What?
Handmade, you make them?
The sun.
So I may or may not have spent $20 on a bag of sand. It's Egyptian sand. This is just bizarre. I can't believe, like, that's the Sphinx.
It's amazing in real life.
And there's pyramids. And there's camels. And there's people selling stuff, but, like, this is Egypt, man.
I know.
There's pyramids there. The Sphinx is like 50 metres that
I
way.
think that you want him.
Hey?
That guy thinks that you want him.
Bizarre. What guy? I don't want no camel. Alright, let's go back to the bus. There's still a fair bit of mystery over how these pyramids were built using Bronze Age tools with more geometric precision than many modern buildings. The way the angles at the bottom converge perfectly at the top and the laser cut precision of the granite blocks inside. One theory is that they rolled the blocks over wet sand and then ramps, but others say it isn't possible to roll 2.3 million blocks, which weigh 2 tons each, up steep ramps using just rope. Some say it took 400,000 people 20 years, some say it took 10,000 people 30 years, but however they did it, it's an impressive feat to build these huge structures thousands of years ago with little more than chisels and rope and brute strength. On the way back to the hotel, we stopped at the Egyptian Papyrus Institute, which, aside from this demonstration on how they make paper out of papyrus, is really just a shop selling papyrus artwork.
Paper like that, very strong like that and very flexible. As you see, no chemicals, no glue, all by hand, step by step, like this.
I was determined not to get sucked into buying something, but I mean, who can resist genuine glow-in-the-dark Egyptian artwork? So, can you just explain this painting for me? So you've got
the story all over the wallet between the king Tutankhamun and his wife. She gives him the lotus symbol of love, means I love you and I like to spend my life beside you forever. If you accept it and touch it like that, it means I accept your love forever to be my wife in all time. So this symbol of love, peace, happiness, eternal life.
And then when you turn it off,
you will see big cat, symbol of happiness.
What's that symbol called again?
Key of life, symbol of eternal life.
And what's this mean?
Happiness and fun.
We're just checking out of the Holiday Inn in Cairo, which is behind me. It's in a really busy place in town, and the Nile River is, you can't see it, but it's just over there. We're about to hop in this here bus and head to the train station for the overnight train. So, on the overnight train in Egypt, and a little bit different than the European ones. It's very, it's very small. Probably a good metre or half a metre smaller, which trust me, in a space like this matters. Alright, what's everyone else doing? So I'll meet you in the
parlor?
yeah, I was thinking, wait, I'm like dining car where there's a guy playing a piano, I'm sure. I'm sure there is. Unlike the European sleeper trains we got on here, the beds are still up there. So they're set up as chairs at the moment. Anyway, we just had our dinner delivered to us. We have the same thing.
Rice, veggies, and chicken.
Chicken.
Or it could be pigeon.
Apparently they eat pigeon here in Egypt. So at lunchtime we weren't entirely sure we were eating chicken because they were very small chicken. Honest food review.
7, 8, 10.
That's generous.
I know.
The rice was good.
Yeah,
For me, that's saying something. The rice and the veggies were my favourite. The chicken's a bit dry. It's alright though. How are you enjoying your first class accommodations?
It's a bit rocky.
A bit rocky?
13 hours of this. It's going to be fantastic. And I was proud of myself that I went inside.
She did. She went into the pyramid. Yeah, imagine doing that. Like, imagine being the first person down there. Like, without the handrail, without the ramp. Why am I talking to the camera again? 13-hour train ride. I'm going to have a coffee and then I'm going to do some work. And tomorrow we're going to Philae Temple and a perfumery. Bye! Here we are at Philae Temple.
It's a complex of temples, and the construction was going for more than 400 years.
So we're here in a hotel in Aswan, which is actually not bad. It kind of feels really peaceful and out of the hustle and bustle that is Aswan and Egypt in general, really.